Hi, I'm Justin Jensen, and welcome to my channel. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust, sweat, and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and may fall again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming. Teddy Roosevelt. Hello, everyone. Let me know if you can hear me and at least partially see me. Hope everyone is well. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. We are still in Idaho, but we are talking about another case. So much going on in Idaho with the Lori Chad Daybell case that has been going on for a couple, maybe a few years now. Not to mention, of course, little Michael Vaughn, and of course, the Idaho Four, who is, a huge topic right now. Now, I was going to go about the Idaho 4 case today. I've done so much research that there was an update, a major update for the Chad Lori Daybell case that I just wanted to do that. I frankly haven't been I've been kind of under the weather the last 24 hours, and I wasn't going to go live at all, to be honest with you, but I wanted to get this out. And yes, I did. I did. That's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. So I wanted to update this of those of you that have been following the Lori Chad Daybell, Vallow Daybell, if you will. Uh, the bodies were piling up, to say the very least. The bodies were piling up when Chad and Lori Daybell was on the outside. Doomsday killers, as they call them, allegedly. Um, Big update, and I want to talk about it. So, motions for the Vallow Daybell case, there is new developments, and they are officially talking about their alibi. The newest developments in the case against Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell have yielded some interesting changes for the upcoming trial after several months were filed or several motions were filed for each defendant. It just seems like they are trying, particularly Lori, in my opinion, she is just trying every little which way to get out of the death penalty, which, in my opinion, she deserves. Uh, and it is sick what I am about to tell you what she is doing. Yeah, I've been working on, and to be honest with you, side note, that leaked audio, it it made me sick, to be quite honest with you. It made me sick of on top of being sick. um, I'm going off on a tangent here, and I'm trying not to, but um, I just feel really bad about it. That's all I can say. I don't want to hear um, someone dying, kids. Just that simple. So, moving along. So, a major development in the Vallow defense is a notice of an alibi that was filed, which states that Lori Vallow was not present for either J.J. Vallow, Tylee Ryan, or Tammy Daybell murders. Vallow claims that she was at her Rexburg apartment with three others when the murders of her children were taking place at her brother Alex Cox's apartment nearby. To me, you may have not been there, but you had no interest in telling the world and authorities where your child was, where your children were. You was out, in Hawaii, wearing your little white dress, going to your little, you know, little cult meetings. And oh yeah, 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 she's blaming a dead guy. That's exactly right, Aaron. She is blaming a dead guy, and the dead guy is her brother, which her brother and her had a very weird, strange to say the least, type of relationship. Very strange relationship. And he would pretty much do anything to get any sort of attention from his sister, which was very strange. And she is saying that during the time frame of Tammy Daybell's death in Salem, Idaho, she was in Hawaii with two of her friends, basking in the sun while bodies are piling up, right? So let me share this for you right now, and show you the motions. This is um, State of Idaho plaintiff, Lori Daybell, defendant. Come now, the attorneys of the defendant, and pursuant to Idaho Criminal Rule 1.2 and Idaho Code 19-519, provided notice of alibi as follows. 1. Lori Vallow was in her own apartment in Rexburg, Idaho when J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan died in the apartment of Alex Cox in Rexburg, Idaho. Defendant was with Melanie Gibb, David Warwick, and Chad Daybell. If you guys remember, or if you have been following this case, you can remember that they were actually filming a podcast that night. And at the very end of the podcast, Alex brings little JJ into the apartment, and he's holding him, and it's a warm embrace. That's his uncle holding him, and he looks like he's asleep, and everyone's like, oh, that's so sweet. Uncle Alex is holding little JJ. What a warm embrace. And it is believed that he is dead, or at least drugged, and will be dead shortly. And actually, I said that wrong. It is right when they are getting ready to do the podcast. They JJ is asleep, and he's leaving, and he's taking him to the apartment. So yeah, nevertheless, we a lot of us believe that JJ was heavily medicated, and after that warm embrace that everyone thinks at the home, he is no longer ever seen again until authorities are pulling his body out of uh, Chad Daybell's backyard in the animal cemetery. So, yeah, very, very sad here. Okay, going back to this. Um, Lori Vallow was in her own apartment in Rexburg, Idaho, when J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan died in the apartment of Alex Cox in Rexburg, Idaho. So she's saying that, um, I knew my kids were dying or dead, but I didn't do it. I didn't physically do it. Um, and she is saying Lori Vallow was in Hawaii when Tammy Daybell died at the home of Chad Daybell in Salem, Idaho, defendant with Melanie Boudreau and Audrey Baratino. And it says, I hereby certify on this day I served in true and correct copy of the document following the method of delivery, and that is it for that. So you just can't imagine a mother who people begged her, the only child that she has living, which he's older, Cody, he begged, absolutely begged to know where his siblings were, and she still would not say anything. Um, so many news outlets, reporters asked, and finally, the they said, if you don't prove us, that these children are alive, you're getting arrested. Well, she couldn't prove it because we had you know, we all had a strange feeling something was wrong here, but we didn't know where the bodies were, and or even if they were alive or dead. So, yeah, continuing on. So, Lori Vallow's attorney also filed a motion to declare her ineligible for the death penalty. Now, she has been deemed incompetent to stand trial at least 2 to 3 times uh, since all of this has taken place, and she was deemed incompetent for quite a while. I think it was like a year one time, and then you can't say that you're insane in Idaho. They don't have the, insane uh, defense. So they deem you incompetent until you can stand competent. Um, So they are declaring that she is ineligible for the death penalty, stating, quote, she does not have the requisite culpability to be charged with the death penalty, end quote. Now, Lori and her husband, Chad Daybell, they are facing, uh, related to the deaths of the children Tylee and JJ. She has been held in custody separately from Chad since early 2020. And we are headed right, or we're headed, we are in 2023 now, I forget. Uh, the couple is also facing additional charges in connection with the deaths of both of their late spouses. As we know, Lori, her husband Charles, was shot by her brother Alex, and Tammy Daybell died at her home, um, with Chad and all of his kids there at the home. And he said that she died peacefully in her sleep, that she had had a vision, or he had had a vision, one of them had a vision, that she wasn't going to be here much longer. And they later did an autopsy, and the state is charging them, at least Chad, for the death of his late wife, Tammy Vallow. Sorry, Tammy Daybell. So yes, so more going on there. But in the motion, attorneys cite that uh, Udman versus Florida, as a result that of the case, determined that someone who does not participate in the murder or attempt to kill someone cannot be given the death penalty. And the statute quotes a person who neither kills nor intends to kill and has not the requisite intention of participating in or the murder cannot be put to death. In the case of Udman versus Florida, a man who was a getaway driver for a robbery gone wrong. That's an interesting case. There is a documentary on that, by the way. You can find it here on YouTube. Had been charged with murder of two victims, and he had been sentenced to death. The Supreme Court took up the case and determined the getaway driver could not be given the death penalty because he did not participate in the murders, and his punishment should reflect his involvement. Now, that is what Lori and her attorneys are trying to say. I knew basically my kids were dead. But I didn't physically do the crime. So, um, I may have, in my opinion, she was a mastermind of it, but she may have not physically done it. But in my opinion, she still deserves death. But she is saying, because I, meaning her, didn't physically, may not have physically did these murders, she should not get death because she didn't physically do it. And it says also, quote, for purposes of imposing the death penalty, Edmund's criminal culpability must be limited to his participation in the robbery, and his punishment must be tailored to his personal responsibility and moral guilt. Now, we have a let me show you here. Here is where they filed State of Idaho versus Lori Noreen Vallow. And it is, we'll just get to it. Lori Daybell has been indicted on charges of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and grand theft, both of which carry the possibility of the death penalty. As pled, the defendant does not have requisite culpability to be charged with death penalty under the indictments for conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and grand theft, nor as a principal or accessory to first degree murder. And it just talks about the Edmund versus Florida, where he was the getaway driver, but he didn't kill anyone, but he was sentenced to the death as well. And that's basically all it's saying here. So, and this was filed January 4th. So 3 days ago, it was filed. All right. And Vallow's attorneys, they're arguing that the charges may differ: felony murder versus conspiracy to commit murder. The contempt should remain the same regarding whether the defendant was charged as a principal or accessory to the crime. They further claim that Lori was not a participant in either carrying out the murder or conspiring to kill, and did not have the, quote, foreknowledge that the children Tylee Ryan and J.J. Vallow or Tammy Daybell would end up dead. She is saying that she had no idea that they were going to end up dead with her, brother. But to me, that is still not good enough because she had no interest in telling anyone where her children were. She was, you know, as a parent, as a mother, as a father, as any concerned citizen, especially, your children, you should want to know exactly where your children are at all times. And she was just going, living her life and not answering a question, not caring at all where JJ or Tylee were. And to me, that is enough right there that she was uh, involved in the murders and should be held just as guilty as the one who did it, allegedly. Um, one day before sending the notice of the alibi on January 4th, Lori's defense sent another notice that the mental health defense would not be used during the trial. Her attorney stated in the motion that her mental health has been thoroughly vetted, and she also received 10 months of care for mental health experts employed by the state. According to her attorneys, Lori has also stated she does not want to proceed with the defense and has not authorized them to take that step. However, the motion also says that if she is convicted by a jury, then they plan to call witnesses and experts to testify at her sentencing hearing to discuss her mental health in order to possibly lessen the severity of her punishment. She's just going to do absolutely anything in order to try to get out of the death penalty, in my opinion. And as we see here, here is the filing, the state of Idaho versus Lori Vallow Daybell. And this is just where she is notice to intent not to raise mental health defense. So she's not supposedly raising the mental health defense. But yeah, she's used in my opinion, the incompetence to stand trial. Uh, so yes, where was I? Okay. One of her last motions filed by Lori's attorneys include a request to have uh, a quote confidential joint settlement and strategy session with Chad Daybell and his defense. So she's wanting her attorneys, his attorneys, to get together and work on their strategy sessions together, I guess, with Chad Duell and his defense in order to discuss their options. So basically, they're trying to feel each other, out and trying to, uh, they are going to be. I think that they're still going to be held. It's all going to be one trial, so they're going to kind of face it together. It's going to be probably one of the biggest trials of the decade, to say, in the last 10 years, as far as true crime. One of the last motions, oh, okay, with uh, settlement proposals, mediation options, and trial fast approaching, Lori and Chad Daybell would like to be able to talk together in person and on the phone about their options. They want to be able to talk to each other before they go in this together, and let their attorneys talk. They don't need to talk, in my opinion. The motion reads, quote, "The attorneys of the parties will attend any in-person meetings and phone conversations, but will not record the conversations and will not use the conversations as evidence." And they have filed a motion to joint settlement and strategy sessions. Now, all of the motion was filed by Lori's lawyers, and there was been no confirmation that this is a mutual request. There has also been some activity regarding Chad Daybell's defense. Recently, he requested was made by Daybell's attorney to extend the window to submit a questionnaire for the jury pool selection. Prior to the request, an extension of the questionnaire deadline had already been granted by Judge Stephen Boyce. Rather, he is. I think he's a good judge. I think he's very balanced and level-headed. From October 13th to January 9th, citing that the extension, Judge Boyce, he did deny Chad Daybell's motion, and he stated that the defense had ample time to prepare and that any delay at this point would cause unnecessary burden. And they have had ample time. And a lot of that time, which has been because of Lori Vallow Daybell's incompetency, that she was not able to assist with the lawyers and her case and all of that. So the defense still has an option to submit a questionnaire by the listed deadline. However, if they fail to proceed, one, then the court will submit the questionnaire in its place. Um, you know, this is a little, Idaho it's not a very populated state by far, and they've moved it to Boise, I believe, which they've had a change of venue to begin with. So, which is exactly what I'm thinking they're going to try to do um, in the Idaho 4. What is trending now and huge? What's trending? Lori Daybell is claiming she's not responsible for unaliving her children. Yes. The Anna, oh God, I don't know. I don't know if I can. The Anna, oh Lord. That is going to be crazy. It is crazy. Um, a lot going on with that, to say the least. The I haven't kept up missing. Let's see what's going on with it right now. You can look at it. Please continue to look for the missing Massachusetts mom as ground search ends. Let's see what it says. Maybe. Okay. Timeline of Emma Walshe movement before disappearance. All right, here. Massachusetts police search Anna Walsh's home in Paris. This was them searching. Where am I? Oh, y'all can't see it. Sorry. They are searching. Oh, I agree. It's way too good for her. Still looking for her. 39 years old of Cassett, Massachusetts, left her home on January 1, when she was supposed to get a ride share to Logan International Airport in Boston and fly to her job in D.C., Cohasset Police Chief William Quigley told reporters. There is no confirmation that she's physically took the ride share to the airport. So there's no proof that she left her home, but it could have been done off the books, according to the chief, although that's highly, highly unlikely. Police confirmed she never boarded a flight and that the multi-jurisdiction search continued into the weekend. Meanwhile, Cohasset detectives headed to DC to follow up on potential leads and conduct interviews alongside DC's Metropolitan Chief Department, Quigley said on Saturday. Anna Walsh commuted to Massachusetts to DC each week to do work in real estate job. Her friend told WCVB, Cohasset Police Department, and she had left her home, uh, Cohasset home, early morning on New Year's Day, most likely between 4 and 5 a.m., while her family was sleeping. There is no video image of her leaving, and security cameras haven't picked up images of her on Saturday afternoon, according to police. So they don't have any evidence that she left her home. They don't have any evidence that she took a ride share. They have no witnesses that she took a ride share. There is no evidence that she was even at the airport, and there's certainly no evidence that she had been on an aircraft at all. Her plan was to take a ride share to the airport for a flight to Washington, D.C., where she works for the real estate company Tishman Speyer. Spear? How do you pronounce that? Never heard of it. Speyer.
Walshe's
Okay.
flight. Walshe's flight.
Walsh's flight to DC was originally booked for January 3rd, but police said during a press conference earlier this week that she had left earlier to do, quote, some type of emergency, end quote, at work. There is no evidence that Walsh boarded any flight or made it to the airport at all. Beautiful, beautiful, person. And the Massachusetts state troopers, they're searching all around the area, um, through the rocks. There's big rocks. I think I just showed you guys that around her home and the backyard, the pool, the surrounding area. Now, her husband and her employer reported her missing to the Cohasset police. Now, her husband and her employer and friends have been cooperative in what they describe as a, quote, missing person case, end quote, at this point, that currently have no evidence of foul play. So they're not saying foul play at this time. In my opinion, it seems like there could be some foul play involved. Um, uh, the Cohasset police team showed up and outside agencies, including the Massachusetts State Police, to search a wooded area near her home and set up uh, a staging area along Route 3A. And this is her home area. Now, she was reported missing Wednesday after allegedly leaving her home around 4 a.m. on New Year's Day. A two-alarm fire broke out in Walshe's former home at 725 Jerusalem Road in Cohasset. All four occupants, three adults and a young child, made it out safely, according to authorities. Quote, the case of the fire is undetermined at this time and remains under investigation by the Office of the State Fire Marshal and Cohasset Police, though it does not appear to be suspicious, police said in a statement on Saturday morning. So, um, this was a home that once belonged to her, and it just so happened to catch on fire whenever, you know, at least a portion of it caught on fire while she was missing. They're saying it's unrelated. That's all we know at this point. Now, Cohasset Police said that Massachusetts State Police resumed their search in multiple wooded parts of wooded area and around her house. Investigators were seen going through the family pool and searching closer to the house, but police didn't provide any official update about what and or if anything found. Before Saturday's search began, they told Fox and Friends, quote, every hour we are getting more concerned for her well-being, and we have more questions than answers, end quote. Police have asked the public to send any information or tips to tips@cohassetpolice.com. Um,
Battled flames at the former home of a missing Massachusetts woman. The mom of three was reported missing Wednesday by her husband after leaving her home around 4 a.m. New Year's Day to go to Logan International Airport in Boston. Anna Walshe never made her flight, and now police are asking for the public's help to find her. Joining us now, Chief William Quigley of the Cohasset Police Department. Welcome to you, sir, and thank you for your service. What are your thoughts on this case as it unfolds?
At this point, it's a missing persons case, as you know, and we're asking for the public's help in trying to locate Anna Walshe.
And we have a quote from a friend of hers who says, honestly, I'm scared, really, really scared, she said. She's a loving and loyal wife and mother of three beautiful boys. I know in my heart that of her choice, she would not go a day without speaking to her husband and her kids. Chief, what do you make of that statement, and how does that impact the tenor of your search?
Well, every hour we're getting more concerned for her well-being, and at this point in the investigation, we have more questions than answers.
Have you been receiving tips? Have you been receiving help from the public at all?
We have. There's been an outpouring of support and helpful information from the public, and we're asking that continues.
And because this phase is still missing persons, tell us how that affects resources allocated or the priorities that your department is working on as they search for her.
Well, this is a top priority. It's one of our residents, obviously, and a mom of three young children, ages 6 down to age 2. We have detectives working around.
do you guys remember? It wasn't too long ago. I'm really sorry, I forgot the woman's name who tragically passed. Um, she was a very wealthy woman in New York, and she was married, but she was having some sort of affair with someone who helped maybe tend the property or something. And her child was upstairs, or her children, and her lover was down in the basement. They got into a fight. He stuffed her in luggage. Do you guys remember that? Um, could it be something like this. Something about she did leave at 4 o'clock in the morning. Um, we don't know if she was having. It could be someone random. It could be, uh, a lover, an extramarital, kind of affair kind of thing, or, um, you know, they're looking up their husband. But the thing is, the way this article and stuff is talking, it sounds like she would never go without her husband, and it's more importantly, her kids. Um, we love our husbands and our wives, but our kids are number one, right? So, a good mother or a father would never go without their kids. So, someone could have parked a car in that garage, put her body in trunk she hasn't seen on video. And that is exactly right, Diane. Um, so we don't know. Her husband is being charged with selling fake Andy Warhol paintings. Really? I didn't know that, Jackie. I did not know that. Um, that's pretty bad. She is described as 5'2" and 5'2" tall and around 115 pounds. So she's very tiny in my opinion. She has brown hair, brown eyes, and an olive complexion, and is believed that she speaks with an Eastern European accent, according to authorities. Um, and that is it for that. So it's, a lot is going on. I'll cover more of that um, starting maybe tomorrow or something. I worked really, really hard today on, of course, the Idaho 4 case. Um, that recording really, I don't know, it just, maybe it's because I don't feel good. Uh-oh. Can y'all hear me? Okay. Can y'all hear me? Husband owes a lot of dollars to Leon. Oh, really? Didn't know that. Okay, just making sure. I have a temporary computer until I get um, the one I really want to get. So the Idaho 4 case is very deep. It's very deep. It's very disturbing, and it has taken a lot out of me, to be quite honest with you. Patty and Pink, Dead Man Walk. You know something? We're going to talk about it tomorrow. There are reporters and people, I'll just say right now, that are saying that this may not be as open and shut as we think. So, I as a whole, a collection of all of us, I want us to never get too sure of someone being convicted. It feels like they have a lot, and I have the utmost faith in these police officers and in the FBI, the marshals, everyone. However, um, we can't let it go to our heads, right? So I truly hope a conviction can be had, but anything is possible. I believe, I do believe that justice will prevail. Um, but again, I don't want to get like, as we say here, too big for my britches, right? So that's that. You was 100% positive Casey Anthony was toast. You know what? Let Casey Anthony and OJ Simpson and all that remind us, right? Thank you, Jenny. I appreciate you, my dear. So I don't know, like I listened to that recording today. I was actually uh, working with the audio and stuff, and I just wasn't feeling. I just haven't been feeling good. I think I got like a little stomach bug or something, and like it was just in my head. You know what I mean? You know how like something like sticks in your head, and it's hard to. It's like I don't know, it just kind of stays with you in your head all day, almost like like if you hear like a song or a jingle or something and it just kind of stuck in your head, it just like it's on loop. Oh, thank you, Jackie. Appreciate it. Thank you. Um, it was disturbing. And I'll tell you what I think it was. Um, yeah, I mean, it was obviously all of them, hearing that. But last night I was watching um, Ethan's family, and Ethan comes from triplets, and I have twins. You can hear them, um, and I was looking at her life. The mother and the family's life, and how they traveled, and they just looking at their pictures reminded me a lot of my family, to be quite honest with you. And they just have it all, and they lost a lot. You know what I mean? And the you can tell they're wonderful parents. They came from wonderful parents. The triplets did, and I mean, I really just was on her Facebook, and I really shed a few tears because and this is no shade or anything like that, but I was thinking, you know uh Kaylee and Maddie, they get a little bit more attention, and it's again, it's no shade or anything like that, but um they're each a life that a family is missing, and I don't want to forget equally uh, Xana and Ethan. So, hey, honey, how are you doing? Good to see you. Um, and it was just so nice of his mother to really open up her Facebook and show the world their good times. And truthfully, I was looking in 2016, right? In 2016, she had photos of the triplets, and they were kids. You know what I mean? Like they were like little they were like little the triplets were like kids, you know what I mean? I mean, like my kids are like not too much smaller from where Ethan and the triplets were in 2016, you know? So, it's just crazy. Yeah, you would struggle to go on. And it is, I feel for the the two that are left of the triplets, because it's a special thing to be a twin or a triplet, or anything of multiples, right? Because it's more of a rarity, and not a lot of people get to experience uh, you know coming out of a you know like literally the moment the sperm hits the egg and the egg splits, or the eggs get fertilized, right? um, you are with each other at the beginning of creation. And that is just an amazing thing that most of us don't get to ever experience. Um, so, yeah, yeah. My mom is a twin. Yes, they do have a special bond for life. He said sperm. Semen, what do you want me to say? Uh, but it's just what it is. Um, my twins are very attached at each other. Yes, yeah. So the Daybells want to be together to talk. They deserve nothing. Let them die apart. Absolutely. Thank you, Jamie K. Thank you. So yeah, it's just one of those things. I was about went live several times today, but I just couldn't get with it. So I just did this evening. Mine are boy girls, and they are super attached. They've be lost without each other. Yeah, yeah. And the interesting thing is to raise twins or triplets or any multiples. Um, is a special treat too because you can treat them exactly exactly the same, and they still view things very differently, have very um, different personalities, and but yet are very bonded with each other. So it's interesting. Yeah. Well, I pray nobody ever has to, Shannon. God forbid. So, anyways, I just wanted to come on for that and say hi and tell you guys about the Lori Chad Daybell case. I will be back tomorrow, Lord willing. We got a lot to talk about tomorrow, and we're going to start all over fresh tomorrow. Um, Lots to talk about. We will, I'll be live probably earlier in the day tomorrow and then again later in the evening. So you can catch me. If you can't catch me at one, maybe you can catch me at the other one. Yes, you're right, Scorpio. You're right, Scorpio. Thank you all. I appreciate each and every one of you, truly, honestly. Thank you for everything. My kids are both the same age for 3 weeks. I see you. That is called uh, what is it? Irish twins. That's what it's called. All right, guys. Mwah. Love you all. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I'm going to bed. I am. All right. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.